Hello everyone, it's Rainy. If you're interested in a raw vegan lifestyle, you probably heard about food combining.
Most people who heard about this idea completely dismissed it because it felt too restrictive, unless they got some kind of benefits from it. And one of the biggest benefits that food combining proponents advertise is weight loss. Because of the huge popularity of food combining for weight loss, there was a group of scientists who decided to put it to the test. And according to this study, they found no benefits for weight loss comparing to the same calorie diet without applying these combining rules. But the most popular benefit that is promoted nowadays and that some people actually experience is improved digestion. When I first learned about food combining principles, it made so much sense to me. Finally, I realized why when I ate fruit by itself, it digested really well. And if I ate it after a heavier meal, it actually gave me gas and indigestion. Authors who promote food combining principles explain that fruit digests faster and easier than most other foods, especially foods high in fat and protein. And this is one of the few arguments of food combining camp that is actually supported by science. We know from physiology that fruit does digest faster than other foods. It does not necessarily mean that everybody have to always eat fruit separately. Some people will not experience any indigestion or any symptoms eating fruit together or after meals. But at the same time, many people experience discomfort eating fruit with heavier meal or after, for example, cooked meal or after a salad with avocado, and then others don't. Most nutritionists will tell you that there is absolutely no scientific proof that food combining is true at all. But the reality is that there was barely any trials or scientific experiments or research done on this topic. There was only one research that proved that food combining doesn't make a difference for weight loss, but that's all. So we don't really know if it helps people or not. What we do know is that some of us experience much better digestion when we combine foods in a certain way. So what about other combining principles, like keeping starchy foods separate from acidic foods? The explanation is that the starchy foods need alkaline environment, and acidic foods are changing it. But the truth is that our stomach is always acidic when we digest food. Its acidity ranges from 1 to 3, so it's pretty acidic environment. And the first part of our small intestine is much more alkaline, but still slightly acidic. And then the second and the third part of our small intestine is neutral to alkaline. And it doesn't matter which foods we digest, it's just always the acidity stays the same. So we can't really affect the acidity too much for our starches to digest better. Our starches start digesting in our mouth, and the better we chew, the more saliva we produce, which is alkaline, slightly alkaline, and it helps to start digesting starches. There is another theory that authors who promote food combining explain is that we need to eat proteins separately from carbohydrates and fats. which is, I don't know how they came up with this idea, because most foods in nature have carbohydrates and proteins and fats all together, just in different proportions. And our pancreas releases protease, lipase, and amylase all at the same time, just in different proportions dependent on which food we ate. If the food was high in fat and lower in carbohydrates and protein, it will produce more lipase and less amylase and protease. So it doesn't really make no sense to keep these foods separate. The only thing that does make sense to me is usually the simpler the food is, the easier it is to digest it for someone with weak digestion. So if you have weak digestion, it's a good idea to keep your foods super simple. Just eat a fruit, maybe try just one type of fruit with one type of green, blend it into a smoothie. If you find it difficult to digest even blended greens, then maybe juice your greens and try to eat fruit whole to get some fiber, because fiber is so important for our digestion and health of our gut flora, which will help you to get healthier and strengthen your digestion overall. So as much as possible, it is important to keep fiber, even if you find it hard to digest. Just start adding more water-soluble fiber, softer fiber, to keep it going, and then slowly you can build up your digestion. And it's also very important to get minerals, so to drink green juices is a huge help to improve your digestion. And if you find any principles of food combining helpful for you, you find that when you eat these foods separately, for example, if you keep acidic fruit separate from sweet fruit and it helps you feel better after a meal, then of course do it. But there's no real explanation right now to explain why we have to do that. So I feel if you're healthy and if you experience no issues with eating bananas together with oranges, then by all means enjoy your fruit the way you want it, the way you enjoy it. The main thing that you get the fruit in. But if you notice some discomfort eating bananas, you might ask yourself, did you eat them together with pineapple or something acidic, and maybe bananas were a little bit underripe? So maybe that gave you that discomfort. So try to ripen your bananas, have your acidic fruit also as ripe as possible, and try to eat them separately and see if it helps. It's really all over the internet that we need to eat these foods separately, but to be honest, there's no explanation, which at the same time shouldn't stop you from using this principle if it works for you. I hope that in the future we will come together and put together some fundraiser that will allow us to organize more research on this topic, so we can see which food combining principles are important for maybe certain type of people, and are they important for others or not. To do this research to know for sure, because before that it's only our ideas and somebody's experience, which is not necessarily will convert into somebody else's experience. So don't worry too much about food combining. If something from that works for you, use it. If these food combining principles are only slowing you down or disturbing you and stopping you from eating healthy fruits and veggies, then you can easily forget about it for now until there's more research. There's no real physiological reason to be fanatical about these rules and principles. So I hope it was helpful for you, and if you have more questions about food combining, or you have some sources that show us maybe that some principles are true, or there's some scientific explanation, or in other words, real explanation, physiological, for these principles, then let me know. And if you have some experience to share with applying these principles, then feel free to share in the comments down below. I'm really curious to hear about it. And if you would like to learn more about food combining and how it can help your digestion, and get over 100 recipes that are combined strictly according to principles of food combining, you can get our Simply Vibrant recipes, and I'll put a link down below with a discount code that I made specially for you. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so we can see in the next video. Thank you.